3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
Are we live? Alright guys, welcome to the 4th episode of Cooking with Brashley. Hopefully everyone had a great day today. It's a fantastic sunny day in Toronto, so hopefully everyone got some vitamin D today. So anyways, tonight what we're going to be making, spaghetti squash noodles with a homemade coconut milk Alfredo sauce. So what you need, as you saw from the ingredients list, we need a squash, which is spaghetti squash, which is as big as Ashley's head here. Donk. Did you turn on play?
No, I just dimmed it.
Oh, okay.
Better now.
Is that better?
Yeah.
You want to check?
Yeah, I'm
cool.
checking.
Alright, whatever. Alright, so we need coconut milk, full fat. Okay, shake that up, make sure it's all shaken up. I'm going to use some ghee here to rub on
Squash?
squash. Yeah, exactly. We didn't have grass-fed butter because they're all out. It's hard to get around here because they only have limited supplies. So we're going to make sure we have organic butter, which makes sure the cow's not obviously fed that crappy GMO grain-fed shit. But anyways, and then we're going to have some garlic. So simple recipe. Oh, and as with that, you can choose what? Protein, right? So if you want protein with it, we're going to use some, you want to show them, Vanna?
Wild-caught Argentinian shrimp.
Yeah, wild-caught shrimp. What would be nice with this, though, would be possibly some chicken, right? Some pasture-raised chicken or organic chicken. Also, I thought about this, but I didn't buy any. Bacon would go nice with this on top of an Alfredo sauce, right? Nice crispy bacon. Anyway, so let's get started. This is going to take the longest, so let's get this cut up and prepared. Make sure the sticker comes off, first of all. Okay? All right. Ivana, what do I need right now from you? Nothing.
Peel the shrimps?
Yeah, peel the shrimp. Well, way to be proactive.
Thank you.
Okay, so you need a big knife for this thing. This thing is hard, right? So make sure you don't hurt yourself or cut yourself. Okay? Okay. Whatever. Shush. See, snickering over there. Okay, cut it like this. Right in half, just like that. Okay? Be careful though. Make sure you're careful. My hair is already starting to go. I think I need my karate bandana.
Okay.
So,
hold on,
I need my bandana. Okay. So this is kind of what we have here with our spaghetti squash. This is what it looks like right here. We want to scoop all that crap out. Let's just toss it, right? I mean, you could take the seeds out and maybe save that and bake them. Yeah, red beans dead. Okay, come on. Chef Brad. Wannabe Chef Brad.
Sorry.
Sorry guys, just gotta keep the hair out of the food.
Oh! Won't care, but he does care.
Okay.
Better? Okay.
I'm like Betty. Okay, Betty here. So we're gonna scoop this out. Let's scoop this crap out first. Now, when I was out shopping today, I was looking for an organic spaghetti squash. Couldn't find it at Metro. They didn't have anything, even though. So I just got a regular old spaghetti squash. Now, I can do that because, again, going with kind of the idea, when it's a hard shell like that, pesticides don't really have a chance to kind of leak into this. So when it's a hard shell like this or an avocado or something like that, it's fine to buy non-organic. Again, it keeps it cheaper too. Oh, thank you, honey. You're the best.
I just don't like the mess in the sink.
I know. I usually leave shit all in the sink. Okay. So scrape that out. Was anybody cooking with us? I think someone maybe... Kyle was going to maybe see what's going on. What's up, Kyle? You here?
He's here.
He's here. What's happening, brother? Okay, so we're going to take the spaghetti squash. Now all our crap's scooped out, just like so. Okay, make sure your oven's on. I forgot about that. Okay, 350. Now, these are some pretty honking spaghetti squashes, so obviously they're going to take a lot longer to cook. I already have one in. Right? Secret of Instagram Live. I've already put one in, so that's cooking just so time limits kind of, because the sauce and the rest of this meal isn't that hard to make. So preheat your oven to 350, get it cooking. These probably going to be about 45 minutes, but if they're smaller, it'll be about 30 minutes. Yeah, cool. So now I'm going to oil these up. I'm going to use my finger because it's us cooking and I'm not serving this to people. But if you have one of these, this works too. So I'm just using ghee here. Now, what else do you think you could use for cooking like this? Anyone have any ideas? If you're using oil to cook with, we've talked about it before. Avocado oil, nice, honey. Yeah, she said that. Yeah, it's good. No, avocado oil is good. You can use some anything saturated fats, right? Something that's going to hold up to heat nice. Maybe some coconut oil is good too. But I just have this ghee left over from when we were in Amsterdam, so I'm going to use this up. Going to spread that on just like so. Okay. So, watch out, slippery. Face down, just like so. Okay. We're going to toss that in the oven. Oh, look at those. Those are cooking quite nice right now. Alright, so I'm just going to check on those, see if they're still good. Okay, so now that our spaghetti squash is in, we're going to let that cook. Probably going to about 45 minutes or so, depending on the size of squash that you've bought in. While that's cooking, we're going to make the sauce. So, make the sauce. Ashley, can you open that coconut milk for me? I don't know why I keep calling you Ashley.
I don't know, it's going to be very weird. I don't like it.
Okay, and now I'm going to come to my stove top here. I'm going to turn this guy on. I'm going to get my saucepan heated up here with a little bit of butter and garlic. I'm just going to have it on medium right now because I don't want to burn that garlic. Garlic is such a great food. Great anti-cancer properties to it. Okay? I love garlic. Now, you want to use a lot of garlic. I think the recipe calls for 6 to 8 cloves. The reason being is you kind of want to overpower it with... You want to overpower the coconut kind of milk taste with garlic, right? Because we're making an Alfredo sauce. The Parmesan cheese that's eventually going to go into the sauce is going to really help with that and really help thicken it up. I dare you to eat one of these. You think you can?
I have eaten them.
I bet you can.
Fun fact, if you feel like you're starting to get sick, eat a whole clove of raw garlic and it kind of just knocks the sickness right out of you. It will be strong.
Oh yeah, man.
You will not feel great at first.
Yeah.
But it works.
Does it?
Yeah, it does every time.
Yeah?
Every single time.
Alright.
Can you just put it in my hands, please?
So I got 1 clove, 2 clove, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna use, I think, what do you want, 8?
Yeah.
8 cloves of garlic. Okay, it's gonna be nice and strong.
Again, it's to taste too, right? If
Yeah.
you want to overpower the coconut milk, if you don't like a lot of garlic, or if you got a date later, I would advise not doing any cloves.
Yeah, you're gonna fight a vampire later, definitely use more. You got a date with Brad Pitt?
Every single time.
I know. Well, it's just the way I am. So actually, you know what, I was telling Ash yesterday, I wasn't gonna have any wine this week, but then I read in my program, my holistic nutrition program, that 1 glass of wine, actually people have lower levels of CRP, which is, I can't remember the name of it, but basically it's a marker for inflammation. So people who drink light to moderate have less of that than people who totally abstain from alcohol. So Ash, can you give me a glass of red wine?
Yes.
Cool, thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to chop this guy up here. All this garlic here, you see that? Be careful to keep your knuckles in. I don't even know if that's right, but people have definitely eaten my blood before.
Ew.
No, I'm just kidding. All right. Kyle, how are you making out over there? Let's see. Let's check in on Kyle. How he's doing. Is that because of the buzz of the properties of wine? Not because of the buzz, Kyle. The properties of wine. anti-inflammatories in them. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Ash is really good at chopping garlic.
It's cathartic.
Okay, so while she chops that garlic, I forgot that this pan was on. Well, that's awesome. I'm gonna get some of this butter going. So again, for my sauce, we're gonna have some butter going in this pan, and we're gonna put all 8 cloves of garlic in there. We're gonna cook that garlic and get that going. What should you put on your shrimp? I'm gonna say that's up to you, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna put garlic and butter.
I mean, it's an Alfredo. Think of like when you would go to an Italian restaurant
Yeah.
and order a shrimp Alfredo or a chicken Alfredo. Basically, all they're doing to the shrimp or to the chicken prior is maybe cooking it in some butter and garlic and then just tossing it in the sauce so that it's got the same flavor spectrum as the rest of the dish. You don't really want to spice it up at all. I mean, you can with chilies, but again, think Alfredo and think Italian Alfredo.
Yeah, and the reason we're using spaghetti squash, right? I mean, we don't want those, personally, Ash and I, we don't eat the refined sugars kind of thing or refined products. We stick to a whole food diet. Again, squash is going to be way better for our guts. Any other?
Tasty.
Yeah, it is super tasty. Any other reasons why people don't eat pasta out there? Ash, what do you think? Let's see. Okay, so anyone who's just joined, we are making a spaghetti squash noodle pasta with a homemade coconut milk Alfredo. So we're using coconut milk for our base with butter and garlic for our sauce, with a little bit of Parmesan cheese in there, and we got spaghetti squash bacon in our oven right now. So now that my butter is going in my saucepan, I'm going to take all this garlic here. Oh, well, that's a lot, eh?
It's gonna be
Big
delish.
cloves. Yeah, I love garlic. You want to save some of this for the shrimp?
Yeah, please.
Okay, we're going to save some of that for the shrimp. So I got this cooking right now. Okay, what you want to do is you just want to make sure that the garlic is not going to burn. So if it burns, it's going to be like what? Is it bitter?
It's gonna be very bitter. You want it to get to a point where it's cooked. You can actually smell the aroma of garlic. When it gets bitter, it'll turn very dark, very black, and it will not smell like garlic.
Hey,
It will
buddy.
smell awful.
Yeah, it's going to smell awful. So again, we want to keep this sauce, well, it's just right now, it's basically 2 tablespoons of grass-fed or organic butter with our 8 cloves of garlic or 6 cloves of garlic because we're going to use the rest of the garlic for the shrimp with some more butter in there. So we're going to slow cook this kind of thing, maybe on medium heat. And again, like I said, we don't want to overcook it, right, to get that bitter taste and burn it, right? But you'll know, it's going to start to sizzle. Well, we don't want it to sizzle really.
Well, the butter will start to mix with the garlic, and you'll just get that nice aroma. And while you're cooking, you can see that it's very, very white. Once it starts cooking a lot, it tends to become a little bit translucent. And then when it's done, you'll just get that nice aroma going off. And like right now, you're gonna, oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, it's nice right
So
now.
delicious.
It is super hot in here right now. Like I am
What would you like
burning
to do?
up. Is it AC on?
No.
Just turn it on low. We want to be environmentally conscious. Or maybe you'll just open the door. It is super hot in Toronto. Anybody from anyone outside of the city? Is it nice anywhere else? Because it is beautiful here. Everybody's out on the boats. Looks amazing out there. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this up a bit here. Get this cooking a bit. What else do we need? So this like honestly, guys, this recipe is super simple. It's cooking the spaghetti squash, and this Alfredo sauce is super easy, man. It's just butter, garlic, and then our coconut milk, and then we're gonna add some cheese in it, and we're gonna pour that right on top of our noodles. And we're gonna use our shrimp, but another thing we could use for the pasta, I mean, you can kind of make this recipe your own. So if you want to add some nice cooked tomatoes or something, so some nice organic cherry tomatoes, we can cook those up. I actually bought some if you want to add some.
I don't
kind
know.
of turn it. turn it into like, you know, a little Alfredo kind of style, right? So you could kind of do that. Or like we talked about bacon, you can put bacon. All right, Ash, go ahead.
Okay,
I'll
or
start cooking it.
I don't know if any of you had noticed the teaser to what we were cooking tonight, but the picture when we made this recipe, we did it with spaghetti squash and with spiralized zucchini, which is also very, very tasty. All you need for that is one of these things. So basically, you could put your vegetable in there. The zucchini is a spiralizer. You can get them at a lot of places, kitchen stores, Walmart, all that kind of thing. And then you just do this, and it's the same deal, except with zucchini, you're just gonna toss it in the pan. You don't have to bake it or cook it like that before.
Ottawa's hot too, eh? Yeah, Toronto is stifling. I mean, we're not complaining. It's beautiful out here. We luckily, oh yeah, there we go. See, I'm cooking that a little. So you starting to see this? Sizzling? Sizzling means bad. Sorry to get you there. I just want to show them what not to do. Okay? So as that's going, I'm going to get that coconut milk in there. Now, depending on how many people are eating, I can use about 3/4 of this can, and that's good enough for the two of us. What I'm going to use so I'm going to use about 3/4 of this can for 2 servings. Now, remember, I'm going to use that quarter of the can probably for my fat bomb smoothie or something like that in the morning, which is going to be with blueberries, coconut milk, right? So for people on ketogenic diets, this is fantastic. You can keep this for the morning for your shake. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to turn that up a bit again. We'll start cooking that. And we'll cook that in the garlic for a bit. And it'll start to cook down. It'll start to boil. And I'll show you what's going to happen. And then we're going to add some Parmesan cheese to that.
Oh, do you want me to shred it?
Yeah, for sure, please. So as Ashley's doing the Parmesan cheese, I'll get my protein in here. Now again, if you're doing chicken, a nice chicken would be maybe something easy that Ash and I do is buy full organic chicken, and we throw it in our slow cooker, boom, and then you can kind of just use that for days. That would be amazing kind of meat for this kind of pasta. So my garlic's heating up here, so I'm going to add my little shrimps here to here. And then, once I'm done there, now again, you don't have to put protein on this if you don't want. Like again, this could be an option for vegetarian, vegan, right? You just couldn't use the cheese, right?
You can use the butter.
Right? So you can kind of curtail this to whatever type of diet you're following at the time. But again, it's great. It's got a lot of whole foods in it, and nothing is processed, right? We're not going to put, what's that?
How much cheese?
You know, cheese. All right, there it goes. Now I don't need the chop in half. So again, that's the main thing is when you go and eat pasta, right? You have the canned pasta. It's got a ton of sugar in it, right? This stuff has no sugar. Actually, you know what? Let's just see what kind of sugar content we have in our. Where'd the coconut milk go?
Sure.
1 gram of sugar in that, which isn't much, right? So the fiber from the spaghetti squash, which is, you know, still a carbohydrate, but the fiber in the spaghetti squash definitely slows down the release into the bloodstream, which is a lot less than you would be getting if you eat pasta with a like if you look at the sugar content of some of those tomato sauces, it's pretty nuts. It's eye-opening for sure. That. Okay, so Ash has got that still going. Okay, and again, I'm just cooking this coconut milk till it starts to bubble a bit, like till a slow boil, and that's just gonna get all that garlic flavor into the coconut milk, right? So we can keep stirring like that. It's not boiling yet. We can kind of start to.
Well, Kyle wants to know is the sauce gonna get thicker when it starts to boil?
Yeah, so Kyle, it will start to thicken up a bit. That's why I like to, you know, I probably should have said I like to start with maybe half a can kind of thing. But last time I did this, I'm pretty sure I did 3/4 of a can. And then once you start adding the Parmesan cheese to it, then it starts to really thicken up. But once you start boiling it, it's gonna start thickening up. Hopefully. Okay? So Ash has got that going. I'm gonna check on my spaghetti squash. Watch your face. Okay, I think we're good here. Yeah. So, the ones I put in earlier are done. You know what? You might grab me a... Gracias. Okay. So you can poke the back of it. It's pretty soft right now, so it means it's done. It's browned up on the outside. Right? It hasn't browned on the inside yet because we haven't cooked or had it exposed to direct heat, which is nice. So I'm going to let that cool down for a bit while we get this up going. Oh my god.
Blow on it.
Blow.
No, seriously, if you blow on a sauce that's starting to bubble up like that, it goes away.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't want to, we don't want to boil it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. If it ever starts to do that and you just go like that,
Right,
it
okay.
goes down, well, you have time to turn the temperature down.
Alright, good tip. So again, we don't want to overboil it like that because it is coconut milk, right? So it will froth up and boil over. But that's why I said you want to bring it to a slow boil. But I kind of want to speed up the thickening process there.
When you put the cheese in.
Once this starts sticking up a bit. Now I've only made this recipe once, twice maybe. So, you know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But
No, it'll work.
I know. Okay. Josh has got that going. Now basically what we're going to do with this, see this here? So it's still a little bit hot to use or to hold kind of thing. That's why I'm letting it cool. But my spaghetti squash, nice and cooked, right? I'm going to get a fork here. Okay, I'm going to get a fork here. And to make your spaghetti squash noodles, so this is on a slow boil here still. Sorry, I'm just trying to watch both here.
I can watch it.
You got that?
Yeah.
So Ash is going to watch the sauce. Now if you're doing this home, it's kind of running around with your chicken with your head cut off. But still, just keep that on a medium heat kind of thing and let that simmer up. So my spaghetti squash, I should be able to stick my fork through it. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's good to go. It's browned up a little bit, right? I can poke through. And basically all we're going to do is we're just going to take our forks and we're just going to scrape that squash out. And that's going to be our noodles kind of thing. And then once it's all in a big pile here, we can kind of separate any big chunks. But for now, I'm going to add my cheese now. While this cools still. Yes. You're going all of it, eh? So it's usually like a half cup. So we'll add a little at a time kind of thing. Or yeah, just add it all. Sure. While stirring kind of thing. Oh yeah. Keep going. Keep going.
No, it's fine.
Keep going. So again, we're not using any thickening agents for this or any guar gums or anything like that. We're just naturally putting in some cheese here. And we'll just keep adding cheese to this till it thickens up a bit. So this is the first time I've used this type of coconut milk. It was the only one they had at the grocery store, so I hope it's not bad. Yeah. Yeah? Okay. Okay, so we'll keep adding cheese to this. Okay, thank you. While she's doing that, I'll start on this guy. So I'm just going to use my oven mitt here because we're not going to be eating the side. I'm just going to hold it down like this. I'm going to start scraping just like that. And you'll see, you can see, the noodles are going to start coming out like that. Okay? So again, we're making 2 of these, and we're going to use these noodles for another dish maybe tomorrow. Maybe a Asian-inspired noodle dish kind of thing. So you can just scrape the sides inside of the squash just like so. Again, if you don't have a mitt, just make sure you wait till it cools so you don't burn yourself. Okay. Ready? Yeah? Okay. How's that sauce coming?
More cheese?
Did you add more?
No.
Yeah, please. Thank you. So I think I added a little bit too much coconut milk. So for those of you just joining, maybe start off with a half a cup of coconut milk kind of thing. If you don't have that much cheese, because we're going to have to use a little bit more cheese to thicken that up. It's no problem. We love cheese. And we usually buy the lactose-free Parmesan cheese, because the lactose doesn't sometimes agree with everybody. You ever have a problem with that?
No.
Never asked you. No. Actually, the
But
cheese.
thank you for asking me on live.
What? Well, I wasn't saying if you had. Okay, so spaghetti squash is coming out. Kyle, is your spaghetti squash done? I know you're baking as well. Okay, I'll get the second half out. Okay, again, spaghetti squash noodles instead of pasta noodles. Way healthier, and you're not going to have to take a nap after your meal. Okay, so I'm just kind of going through it like this to make sure that it's all cooked, that there's no big chunks in there. If there's any chunks, we can kind of just like a pulled pork. If anyone's ever done a pulled pork, just kind of fork it apart like that. Okay, and we'll just keep scraping that out, get as much of that squash out as possible till it's down to the skin. All right. How's that sauce coming, honey?
It's still not super thick. I mean, this has happened to me before where I've done the same thing, where I've used a different coconut milk than I had previously when it thickened. I mean, the other solution is also to let it sit. If you're really hungry, just keep adding some cheese, and it'll still get to a consistency that is good.
I think the key, would be to just start off with a little bit of coconut milk instead of throwing 3/4 of the can all the way in to start. That's my fault. Anyways, just maybe start off with a 1/4 cup and then slowly add your coconut milk as you go. So I'm now gonna keep going with these noodles here, and I just kind of with 2 forks now separate all the tougher parts. Okay, there's still a little bit more in here. Any questions?
Cheryl, Hannah, said spaghetti tastes amazing with garlic.
Oh yeah, and is it Shannon?
Cheryl.
Cheryl, I love garlic, and you know what? You can't even really taste the coconut milk. It's because it's so garlicky and Parmesan-y. Parmesan-y. Is it thickening up a little bit? No. Okay, well, it's okay not to succeed every time, you know. Sometimes, shit happens. So, hopefully, we're just going to be slurping it through a straw.
You can also turn the heat down. Like, it's starting to get a little bit thicker than it was before. If you turn the heat down and just let it simmer a little bit, sometimes that works as well.
Okay. Yeah, it's still thickening up a bit.
More cheese. No,
More
cheese for
cheese.
topping.
Okay, so some other toppings that we could use is, again, we talked about cooking some tomatoes. You could turn it into a blush sauce kind of thing. Cooking tomatoes, great for releasing lycopene, which is a great antioxidant as well. Again, you can make a tomato sauce for this with tomatoes. Again, but just try and make your own kind of sauces for this stuff. Just because the store-bought crap is all going to be refined sugars, they're going to have hidden oils in them, stuff that you don't want to put in your body. So we got our noodles done. I'm going to put these. You know, Ash, I think you're a genius.
I am.
I think you are.
I've been saying this and saying this.
I know. How long have you been married for almost 3 years and for the first time? Anyways. So, now, there is a little bit more squash in there, but, you know, for time's sakes, and stand by. Slipped over me. Okay. So, I'm going to move this guy back over here. Thank you, honey. Yeah, thickening up. Kyle, I hope you didn't use as much coconut milk as me, but sorry. So, got a couple bowls here. Just scoop in spaghetti squash noodles. Again, if you had zucchini noodles, the way, did you tell them how we cook the zucchini noodles?
Yeah.
Yeah, through steamer?
I don't cook them through the steamer. I usually just put them into the
Well,
pan.
yeah, you can pan fry them for sure, or you can just throw them in a steamer for a couple minutes. That works too. So we're just gonna. Oh, we got a lot more. Okay. Spoon in our spaghetti squash. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Another great topping, if you did have, would be some fresh basil. That's also very nice. Noodles are working well. At least the noodles turned out. How's that sauce? For the
I mean, in this event, what you could do too, because it isn't super thick, is you just put some in and toss the noodles in so it's coated in the sauce, and then put the shrimp.
Yeah.
And then you could always save
For
the
sure.
sauce, put it in the fridge,
Yeah.
heat it up the next day.
But you know what? I'm kind of hungry. What about you?
I'm starving.
Let's eat. So it is pretty thick, but it's still quite nice. So I think that by turning down the heat a bit, that kind of helped. But let's try that out before we.
Don't dip it back in there.
That's delicious, dude. It's amazing.
Okay, let's.
Okay. So now I'm just gonna spoon some of this sauce. Now again, this doesn't have any artificial thickeners in it, right? I mean, you can read the can, make sure on the actual coconut milk that it's just pure and it doesn't have any of those thickeners in it as well. That's kind of an important topic. If your grocery store only has the one, then it's still better than the store-bought tomato sauce. Or store-bought Alfredo sauce, I should say. Oh, okay.
I like the extra garlic.
I like this extra soupy.
Mm-hmm.
I might just keep pouring.
And then because I like everything spiced.
Yeah. You already put Parmesan on there?
No, I forgot.
Yes, Kai.
That's not Alfredo.
I know. Ash gets really, she's like our dog Odd. Odd gets really territorial over food, so does Ashley. It's okay though. So I'll just sprinkle some Parmesan on top. Is enough for you?
No, put some. And then I like to put some
I'll have a
chilies
little chili peppers on those.
on top of that, just like it would be if I was eating. If I was eating actual pasta with shrimp. I'll show you.
What is actual pasta? You may need a spoon. Classic Italian slurping.
Someone asked
Spin
me
the
if you
noodles.
can thicken it with corn flour.
Corn flour? You know what? To tell you the truth, we don't really use corn products. A lot of corn products are, a lot of corn is GMO. I would stick to almond flour. If you, like, I probably should have thought of this. Now that you say corn flour, I should have thought of this. But if you are going to use a type of flour, I suggest definitely almond flour to use. It's less processed than corn flour, wheat flour, white flour, stuff like that. So hopefully that answers your question. Any other questions?